Welcome to the RIP 28 podcast. The RIP 28 podcast. It's a podcast where a couple of good friends can get together and talk about a couple of good things. Well, I am your host, Slider Sports Guy. I'm joined by three of my good friends, joined by JK in the top left corner. How you doing, JK?
What up, fellas? Good weekend. Can't complain. Ready to chop it up with my boys. Clemson Tigers won again this weekend. Won big. They tried to bring the Hurricanes in, and yeah, we just made them into a little breeze. But yeah, good weekend.
All right. Now we got the Salt Man down there. What's going on, Salt?
What's happening, family? It's your man Salt, ready to get in with the fellas. Let's get it.
And then we got the educators. LB, what's going on?
What's up, man? It's Beezy the Great once again, the educator's educator, man. Just here to educate somebody about education, I guess.
All right. Well, we are here this week and we're getting close. We're getting close to that time of the year where your vote matters, where the democratic process starts to take place. It's getting close to election day. So we figure why not on the RIP 28 podcast, we talk a little bit about what's going on in the world, dealing with the election, dealing with our president, and dealing with everything. So we're going to this will be our voting episode today. Today we're going to talk about voting and all the things that come along with voting. Now, one of the topics that kind of just jumped to the scene, and we want to talk about this kind of right now, is our boy Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq, the Shaq Diesel, the Big Aristotle, all the nicknames he done thought of. Just found out that Shaq literally just voted for the first time this year. Now, is that crazy or is it understandable? How y'all feel about that?
I feel like he's shacking the fool, man. He just shacking the fool. If you don't have anything, you have your vote. And I just feel like someone's paid that price for us. Mm-hmm. And I'll just keep it simple as that. Someone's paid that price for us. So I feel like it's our due diligence to go out and have our voice heard. So at least we can complain when shit don't go our way.
I definitely agree with you, Bron. Yeah, for our ancestors, what they did just for that right, how could you not go out and vote? Doesn't Shaq have a PhD or something like that?
Well, he has. I know Shaq.
It's honorary.
It's honorary. Okay.
PhD.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but that's just. I don't know. I would say that's slack, but I guess he never really seen a need to get out there and vote. Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
but yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
Now, I was just gonna say, I think that's probably the biggest reason, and not to necessarily defend them, but just looking at our, us historically, we haven't been motivated to go out every election. We would kind of talk about, who we want to, who should be president, senator, or whatever. But as far as actually going out to the polls, historically we haven't done a great job. I'm really surprised the fact, Shaq is maybe 50 or close to his 50s and never voted. Now that in itself is kind of mind-boggling. I think the first time I voted, maybe I was in my mid to late 20s. But 50 years, that's kind of crazy though.
And to me, I would think that if he would have told me voting for Obama was the first time he voted, I could have understood that one. I could have said, okay, well, yeah, because when you I think Shaq reached a certain point in his life, he reached a stage of life where he would get what I like to call cash blindness. And what that means is he had so much money in his life, in his NBA contracts, all his endorsements and everything like that. An issue such as voting probably really didn't affect him that much. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because he don't get taxed no matter who in office. They're going to tax the hell out of him no matter who in office. So him voting for lower taxes, okay, that's cool, but it really don't matter, and him having so much money and so much fame, maybe he just thought, okay, well, I don't see the purpose of me voting. In the same way, a person who has no money says, I don't see a reason for me voting anyway. I already got nothing, so why should I vote? So I could understand up to a certain point, but then once you get, when Obama was running, it would make me think, okay, well, you might have wanted to go and get registered then. Then you might have said, hey, it might be time for me to go and get registered so I can vote for this black guy.
So I got a question. Like, I'm assuming Shaq never really voted. I don't know. When I grew up, I saw my mother get up and go out and vote. Yeah, I'm going to vote, right? My father didn't do it. He still doesn't vote to this day. But I think seeing your parent, at least one parent, get up and vote as a kid, maybe that would motivate you more so when you're an adult to say, hey, this is something that ought to be doing, because but people actually did a lot since I had this opportunity to actually vote.
It's funny you talk about parents, because I look back to my first time actually voting. My first time voting, I was 18 when I voted, because my birthday in April, and then the election, I guess, was in November or whatever. So that's when I went and voted, and I went with my mom. I went with my mom. We went right up the street from the house, to the Roosevelt Village Elementary School, and voted. So, maybe he never voted with his parents.
That's what's up.
But the thing about that is, and I'm not, like you said, I'm not going to defend Shaq, but I think, like you said, with the money situation, it never really affected him. But now that we're seeing what's going on in our communities with some of our Black women and Black males and some of our African-American kids, I think that may have tugged on his heart a little bit, that saying that it may not affect me and my family, but looking out and projecting what's going on with other people's families may have prompted him to also vote.
That could be it, man. That could be. But one thing, though, even though we are kind of talking shit about Shaq, I still want to commend him, for go ahead and getting registered and voting. I still want to, give him a hand clap for that. Because you could be the asshole and be like, well, I ain't never voted before, why I'm going to vote now, and just don't say nothing, and have the whole world thinking he voted or whatever. But it take a lot to come out and say, yeah, I ain't never voted. So I do want to commend him on that.
And one thing you also got to realize too, he has older kids now who would be voting in the selection. So he has to set that example, because his kids probably riled up like most younger kids right now, this generation that's coming up, to actually get out there and vote against racism and all this kind of stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah.
So that could be a reason why he's getting out there and saying, hey, I need to actually do this.
Yeah, I think that plays a big part, kind of for our youth, because that's been one of the biggest, factors that we've seen with our young people, how they've been impacted with the social injustices. Within the last 2 years, I would say me and my wife have made a point to take our kids with us, when we go vote, and my youngest, he's 5 now, and my oldest is 12. So, they've been introduced to the whole process, and that's kind of what we want to instill with them, so that, it's kind of a norm, for, hey, it's that time for me to put in my ballot, and I just sit at home and let somebody else make those decisions for me. So I think the young people, I think that's probably one of the biggest impacts for people that haven't done it in the past while they're doing it now, making a point.
It's interesting you say, you're making a point to bring your kid along. For me, subconsciously, I guess is the point. I just brought my kid because I had nobody watching. He had to sit in the line. He had to sit in the line with me, that's
whatever, you still took them, Sly, so you expose them, whatever the reason.
That's right. That's right.
Even
though he backdoored his way in that line, that's all right. He's still seeing the process, man.
He got to see.
And one more thing too. I'm sorry, Juwan. Just
no, you go ahead.
I wanted to say, I think somebody made a point also, you know, in the past, a lot of us haven't voted because our employers didn't necessarily make the accommodations to let us off work. You know, most of us can't afford to, you know, take a day off work. We got bills, and the issue hadn't been so impactful to us to say, you know, hey, I'm gonna take off time for a whole day pay to go, you know, vote, where it may not even matter. My vote don't really count. That was probably the mindset, you know, back in the day. So that's probably why historically as well, why most of us never really made that effort to make sure that we voted.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mike. Yeah, that like how just imagine that you got to go to work, right, and then all of a sudden, because it's one day to vote, then you got to go and stand in line for like forever in the afternoon, or you got to get up super early in the morning and get to the polls and get in line before it. It's just like you say, does my vote even really matter? That's probably why most people probably didn't even uh, vote at all. And this is one thing I was gonna kind of bring up. How many of y'all are gonna vote in person, or y'all doing provisional?
Oh,
I'm
I'm going.
going. I'm going.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
going
going in
too.
person.
I don't want to
Yeah,
take the chance of my vote getting lost in the mail, so I want to make sure I'm there.
That's exactly right.
I'm still torn. I feel y'all on. I want to make sure my vote count, but then I'm like, it's gonna be so many people voting that it might be those lines like that. It could be a long time. You could be out there. So
Is it
yeah,
worth it to you? Is what you got to look at. I mean, at the end of the day, we got to decide. I've seen more people standing in a Michael Jordan line to get them J's that come out
Hmm.
Saturday morning.
true.
So we got to just decide. I mean, I don't mind either way, but I'm just saying, you know, we got to see what's important and make that decision.
Yeah. And we made that push when Obama was there too. I mean,
Yeah.
people came out, stood in line for hours and hours. So we got to make that commitment if we definitely want, you know, our voices to be heard.
I
True.
definitely remember my precinct when Obama was running both. Well, the first time more than the second time, but the first time, oh my goodness, the line was long, man. Because the precinct wasn't too far from my house, so I actually took the day off work. I took the day off work and I got up extra early. And you know, I think the polls would open at 6. I can't remember.
See,
Yeah, they opened at 6, so I got there, boom, right at 6, and it was a line wrapped all the way outside. And I drove back. I drove back around there during the day, and it was still a line of people, you know. So so yeah, I mean, it was a big thing. It was a huge thing. It was worth it. But Mike, you brought up something real important. The fact that some people have to go to work, and why isn't Election Day a national holiday? That show to me, that shows you the importance of voting. You know what I'm saying? You know, if it's something you have to do, but yet these people who are so high up, they don't even want to make it a holiday because they know if it's a holiday, more people will show up. They're trying to keep you away from voting. You know what I'm saying? They try whatever little trick they can pull so you don't show up. That's what they want to pull, you know?
Right.
And that's another reason I want to go in person.
Hmm.
You know, I want to go there. I want to make sure because they might say, okay, we're gonna take these provisional ballots, we're gonna take these mail-in ballots, but then they might say, well, we don't know if this person was actually living, so I don't know if we're gonna count this vote. You know, I don't.
Or it wasn't filled out correctly, or you might have you
Right.
didn't dot your I, cross your T. Then yeah, we can't
Yeah.
count it. So
So yeah, so I plan on being there,
that's right.
making sure my vote counts.
Hmm.
But you know, we're talking about making sure your vote counts. But here another thing, how many people you think actually know what they voted for? That's another $1 million question is who actually knows what they're voting for? And the thing is, you know, it's a presidential election now. So most people know, okay, I'm voting for Trump or I'm voting for Biden. Most, you know, everybody pretty much know that. But when it comes down to all the local stuff, how many people you think actually know what they voted for?
they don't, and that's why you got
They
the two
don't.
parties, right? So you
Hmm.
vote Democrat, no, I vote Republican. I don't know
Yeah.
what all these people believe and stand for, but they're part of
Right.
this group, and I'm gonna vote for this group. So
Yeah.
Totally agree.
you wish it wasn't
Totally
that
agree.
way, but
Yeah.
that's the way, and they know that, and that's why they get Trump. If they want to get, if you're a Republican, you want to get Trump to back you, and then you'll get more publicity and people will know who you are, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Actually, that's one thing that I wanted me and my wife plan to do this year, because in the past, like you said, you pretty much vote Democratic or Republican, all the way down from presidential all the way down to local council. But one thing I think we'll do is take some time to kind of actually research and see who our local representatives are, you know, their views, what they represent, instead of just kind of just going Democratic just because they're Democratic. I mean, it probably will be that way for me personally, but at least I would want to know where this person locally is coming from, because maybe they might not be the right fit for me and my family. I might vote independent or something. So I think that's important, maybe just to kind of research and see who your local people are.
But see, that's where when it comes to politics, that's where we got to get it at. We got to get in these the primary elections, not just the president, because his
Mhm.
power is limited to those around him, the Senate and the Congress, and those that really make the decisions. So
Right,
that's where we have to go and vote at. That's where
right.
we miss out. Yeah, we get a Democratic president or a Republican president, whatever your choice is, but everybody around him is for the opposite party,
Hmm.
you
The
know?
ones that make the laws. Yeah,
Right, exactly.
right. Good
Exactly.
point.
So
Now another thing, it's funny we're talking about, voting for Trump or voting for Biden. Um, how many of y'all think y'all president had corona? If there's those who've been living under a rock, President Trump came out and said that he had corona and had to check himself in the Walter Reed Hospital. And 3 days later, like Jesus, he came out.
I
Hmm.
believe,
Yeah.
hey, I believe that about as much as I believe I could run a 4-4 flat. And we all know Braun ain't running that fast. That's about how much I believe it, man. I think it was a publicity stunt and a way for him to get out of those debates.
Yeah.
I,
That's just my opinion.
yeah, I don't know if I was talking to my wife about this, and she had that same that when they came out, he had corona. She didn't believe it, and I had a different take on it because my whole take was if he has corona, it's gonna do two things. It's gonna knock him on his ass, and he's gonna respect it, or he gonna get drugs and he gonna be fine in like a week, and
Hmm.
and he's just gonna go on about his business and say corona ain't that bad, and
Hmm.
lo and behold, that's what's happening.
Yep.
Ain't nothing but a little flu. Don't be scared of it. So
Right.
you don't wish ill will on anybody, but sometimes you just want people kind of like your kid, right? You tell your kid, hey, don't touch that stove because it's hot. But sometimes that kid got to go and touch that stove to find out for himself. But if it don't burn him bad, where he don't get hurt, he doesn't have that fear of it. And so I just feel like our president still doesn't have that respect for what the disease can do because it really he had the ability to get the top medical care and drugs and stuff like that. And so it wasn't really, our people are more so dying because they can't get access to the health care that they need to actually help them before it actually get real bad, right? You know, so I believe he actually had it, but I don't think it really changed anything. Only thing now you can say that he had it, he survived, he understand it, and it's not that big of a deal. So, and now his
Hey,
voters are his people are just going back and say and following that. So,
hey, Jawan, I'm surprised you let your little girls burn themselves, man, just to teach them a lesson. But
Sometimes you got
nah,
to
I'm
prove
messing.
that point, man.
I believe in hard lessons too, but not to that extent. Yeah.
nah, yeah, just an example.
No, but I actually agree with you. I think he probably did get it, and also to the fact that people in his cabinet that are close to him, around him, also confirmed they got it. He probably did get it, And like you said too, I'm sure he got, kind of top-notch medical care to make sure that things don't spiral out of control for his health. And he just played into it. He kind of downplayed it because he knows that everybody is saying, how we told you so, and he don't want to give him the satisfaction. So, of course he downplayed it. Oh, it's not that bad. I told you all along, it's fake news corona. So I think he does. I think he still has it. I don't think he's recovered, but he's just kind of downplaying it for the media.
I will say this: when I did see him, when he did his little conference, he looked a little paler than usual, and it looked like he was kind of wheezing and breathing funny. But I still don't believe it, man. I hate to say this, and I don't want to sound insensitive. Only way I would have believed it is if he would have passed.
Dang, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, you ain't lying. Hey, that'll make you a believer, though.
That would make me a believer.
I feel the same way.
I still don't believe that. I'm like Juwan. I still don't believe that stove hot, so maybe I need to touch it. I just don't believe it, man. I mean, I hate to say that and sound insensitive, but that's the only way I would believe it, because I feel like it's fake news.
Hey, man. Hey, I feel you, because it's like the man done told so many lies, done misled the people so many different ways. The only way I'm gonna believe it if he come on his deathbed 2 weeks from now, like, yeah, he really has.
Exactly.
He really has.
He's a master manipulator, man.
Yeah.
And we can't lose sight of that, even with this pandemic. And I know anybody can get it, but I'm just saying that I think it was a manipulating tactic to kind of get out of doing the debates and kind of get a sympathy vote.
It's funny.
Right.
It's funny you mentioned the debates, man. We're talking, about him trying to get out the debates and all. But I'm gonna be honest, it's something about the Republican Party that I like. I really, really.
Hold up. Whoa.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
Just don't say you're voting that way.
No, he can vote either way he wants to. I just want to hear this one out.
I can go that far. But what I like, what the Republicans do, the Republicans don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck what you think or how you think. This is their agenda, and they stick to their agenda. Like Trump knows, okay, I can't debate with Biden, and Pence knows, hey, Harris is a lawyer. I can't debate with them. So these are my points. I'm gonna get my points off. You ask me a question I don't want to answer. I'm gonna talk about my points. I'm gonna talk about what I want to talk about. And the Democrats sitting over here, they want to be nice and sweet. They want to, okay, let's respect you. Let's let you go over your time. I don't want to look. Kamala Harris, she's worried about looking like an angry black woman. If she challenges Pence, I wouldn't give a damn. Look,
but I don't think she was. I think her party coached her to not do that. And
I know that's the whole Democratic Party.
Yeah, but if she came out like she wanted to come out, she would have ate him alive.
But the fact that the fact that she didn't come out the way she wanted to, the fact that she was still being subdued, being not aggressive, it looks like she lost.
Yeah, Pence has no answer for her if she comes out and be a bulldog. He has no answer for it.
Yeah,
I would deflect and do all of that, but as far as answering her and debating her, he has no answer, man. In my opinion, he doesn't. If she comes out as that mad black woman, now she comes out and plays it a little too safe and kind of preventive. I don't think that should be the scheme, in my opinion.
Yeah. But in those debates, is it anybody who actually wins or loses when nobody answers the freaking questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
At the end of the day, they're not answering the questions. Like they should have a scorecard. Every time they ask them a question, they don't answer, you get an X and count the scores up at the end. And whoever answers more questions, that's who wins the debate.
Only thing about that is that's not gonna change how people vote at the polls.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And that's it right there. Because my thing is, How many times have you actually watched the debate and said, I'm gonna change my mind on who I'm voting for?
Exactly.
Don't nobody
It's already predetermined. And most
Yeah.
people, most people now, I'm just speaking for most, I think you usually vote the way your family lineage vote.
Yeah.
If mom and dad were Democrats, those are the views that you hear most. So what are you likely to do as a young kid or a young man? Repeat and spout out what mom and dad says. So I don't really think those debates really changes anybody's votes.
Now, I got a question. Do y'all think that this debate is, I mean, this election is kind of going to be iconic in the fact that things are on on people's radar that probably wasn't on people's radar a lot, like racism.
Oh,
You voting against racism in this election, that probably wasn't on some of the things that you're looking for, and who you're voting for. But now, do you actually look at that? And that's one of the things I wonder. Like, if okay, I was a Republican. I'm not a personally Republican, but let's say if I was a Republican for forever, right? But now this whole racism thing comes to play. And like, would that instantly go high on your agenda? And now that becomes something that's really important for in the economy, and taxes becomes less of an issue, right? And so, what are people prioritizing? And
well,
that's what's one thing I wonder. Go ahead.
we'll find out soon. And here's one thing, piggybacking on what LeBron said, you vote for what your people, you vote for what your people vote for, what you're used to. As much shit as Trump talked about women, all throughout his campaign, the last campaign, grab them by the pussy, all that type of stuff. The reason Trump is your president, there's a bunch of white women. All the white women voted for Trump. So I mean, they follow their husband, they follow their daddy when it comes to who they vote for. So it's gonna be real interesting, man. If this dude win, me personally, I don't know, man. I think he might win.
Well, what happens if he wins, and what happens if he loses? Like, what do y'all think? Go ahead.
I'm gonna go now. If he wins, if you thought he was an asshole in the beginning, but see now in the second term, he don't have to worry about re-election or making nice for anybody. He can say whatever the fuck he wants, and that's my one argument I have against Obama. My one argument I got against Barack Obama is the fact his second term, he still wanted to be everybody's friend. He still wanted to be the peacemaker. If Trump getting there for term number 2, man,
about to burn it down.
dog, he gonna do what he want to fucking do. Everything he want to do, he gonna do it. Because he don't have to worry about getting elected again. Bro, it's gonna be crazy getting there one more. He get there 4 more years.
Frank, it's interesting you brought that up though, because I kind of have my own theory, and a few people I know that they already have a contingency plan if things don't go Trump's way in the election. And it's a little scary because it might incite some violence, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they already got a contingency plan in which he's not going to go quietly. So
I agree with.
So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. It's that's where I tell people, like, in order to just get him where he can't say, you gotta kick his butt. Like, we're on the basketball court, I gotta beat you by like 20, 30 points where it can't be any kind of cheating. No, you just weren't good enough. People just didn't want you, and it's nothing you could say or do to contest anything. That's what has to happen. If that doesn't happen, it could be utter chaos. And when I say utter chaos, because you already got people in the streets protesting. Just imagine if and you got white supremacists trying to kidnap people. Come on, like this is terrorism right here. And so
civil terrorism at that.
I was just gonna say something to think about. Why is there such a big gun and bullet shortage going on now? If that gives any perspective, that's what concerns me.
That gives a lot of perspective, man. Because I don't think it's gonna go down as simple as we vote and
Mhm.
whoever wins. I
Right.
don't see that happening. I think it's going to be a lot more action behind this election than even when Obama got elected, his 2
Right.
terms.
Mhm.
Right.
So
Especially
I
if
can just
Trump
say
loses.
this.
That's the thing.
I'll say this: win, lose, or draw, it ain't no shortage of bullets or guns in this household. So, like you say, take it for what it's worth, but it ain't a
Right.
shortage in here.
Right. Right.
And
I
that's
mean,
my thing. That's my thing. Whatever end up happening, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be ready. And if I run out, I got 2 bow and arrows too. Waiting on
hey,
Old school hustler.
hey, I heard one of my football coaches say this. We went into a game where it was a tough battle. They said, I got 14 bullets. I'm gonna use them. I'm gonna throw the clip, and I'm gonna throw the damn pistol. So I'm gonna throw them all. I'm going with whatever's close, man.
That's
Whatever's
what's up.
close, brother.
that's something. I know we talk about vote. I know we talk about voting and all, but for everybody listening, man, I am a firm believer in the Second Amendment. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you go out and get your pistol. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, I got kids in the house. I'm worried about my kid, you know, shooting himself or shooting me." Man, that's why you educate your kids. You tell them this is
That's
gun.
right.
This ain't nothing to play with. This
That's
is
what a safe is for too.
this serious
Exactly.
business over here. I don't believe in no safe. What I need a gun. Hey, if somebody breaking my house, I ain't got time to put no combination in. I ain't got time to put no combination
Listen, I have a 3-year-old, man. I have some of my stuff is put up.
in. Yeah.
But
You
I
put up
do
high.
have one. Yeah, I do have 1 or 2 around. I have 1 or 2 laying around to where I can easily access them if I'm in the living room or my bedroom.
Now
And I'll leave it at that.
my thing is I don't have them loaded. I don't have them loaded.
Well, so what you gonna do? Throw the damn bullet at them? They break it in the house?
Look here.
You gotta go get the gun.
Now, hear that?
Tell them, hold up.
Hold on. Before you get 2 feet in,
Look here.
let me see if I put my gun and my clip together.
All I gotta do, hit the clip up right here. Here we go. Right there. That's
Hey,
all we need.
and all I gotta do when I come in, when my gun is cocked, as soon as you start reaching, I'm a light. See what I'm saying? I'm not doing all that. I'm gonna put my big stuff is put up,
Mhm.
but my handguns, there's one in the living room where he don't know, and there's one in my bedroom, and I carry it with me everywhere I go. And there's one in there, so I ain't talking about. Oh, hold on, Mike. Let me put it in there. Let me get my clip.
Bruh,
No.
I saw something. I saw something on YouTube. Dude had his headboard. He had his headboard where he could punch the headboard or punch up in the headboard, and the shotgun drop out the top of the head. I was like, damn, I got to get that.
Yeah, he ready.
That's
He
my
ready.
Yeah, he's smart. That's smart.
But yeah, man. Hey, I tell everybody, man, go get you your concealed weapon permit. Go and get your weapon permit. Go and get you a gun. Learn how to shoot. You know, learn. You know, you got a wife. You teach her keep that shotgun in the corner, and all she got to do is lay it on the pillow across the bed. You don't even have to know how to shoot. All you got to do is know how to aim in the general direction with that shotgun. That's it.
That's it. The
So,
pellets and the bullet will take care of the rest. Just
uh-huh.
get it near. Just get it near. And but most people understand when they hear that
Yeah.
from a shotgun, and unless you just a plain out boom, well, you getting somewhere safe.
Mm-hmm.
You
hear
get
that?
somewhere safe when you hear that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's like,
Yes,
oh,
sir.
let me think about what I'm doing right now. Let me give some real hard analysis of what's
Give some
going on
thought.
in my
It'll
life.
make you give some thought.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, man.
Well, my disclaimer is I do not encourage violence, but I will say, as the old saying, I'm not a killer, but don't push me.
Don't
I'll
Revenge is
leave it
like
at
the
that.
sweetest. Never mind. That ain't the part you was
Don't
talking about.
make me
My
one.
fault. My fault, Mike. Yeah, I'm with you, Mike. I don't promote violence, but I do promote protecting yourself and making sure my kids and my family is protected. Because I feel like I'm not out here bothering anybody, so I know if something comes my way, it's unprovoked. Because I just don't, that's not my nature to be out here doing any and everything to people. So if it comes my way, I feel like I got every right to protect myself and defend my family's honor. You
But
better
to
get a gun.
piggyback all this, we all got kids somewhere close to the same age, 11, 12, and younger, all around. I think, LeBron, you got the youngest with 3, but with 3-year-old. But the thing is, though, when do you start teaching your kid gun safety? Though? Because I look at all these white boys, they start hunting. Them boys start hunting at 9, 10 years old. They out there hunting.
Sly, I saw this black guy. He has a daughter and a son.
With all the tattoos on his face?
Yeah. And he taught them how to, I mean, how early is too early? I mean, they can tell you everything about gun safety, how to break that gun down, how to shoot, how to do everything. How early is too early? That's a great question. I think it depends on the maturity of the parents and the maturity but maturation process of those kids. Some kids can handle it, some can't.
That's my thing. I don't think my boy ended up shooting up the whole goddamn house.
Hey, listen, Sly. I say the same thing. I'm gonna teach my son how to gun safety early. So if something happened and well, look at my son, he is too violent. Son, don't you even get a BB gun.
Oh, yeah.
No, sir. I would not teach him until he is, oh man, I don't feel comfortable.
So what about you, Salt? You got a 12-year-old.
Yeah, he's not mature enough. I trust my 5-year-old before I trust my 12-year-old. So yeah, it's a matter of maturity.
Now you got girls. What about you? Hell, you ain't mature enough to have one. Let me talk to your wife, see if she trusts.
Nah, Sly, you gotta go call his father-in-law.
You see yourself letting your daughter learn how to work with a gun? Or? Look at. Speaking of mature,
yeah, but like you said, I think it's maturity. I don't think be having girls, I don't think they would even understand why even having a gun right now. So, but yeah, I would think they need to be teenagers myself before you do something like that.
So sexist. Losing all the female viewers because of your sexist view. Man.
At first, I thought you said so sexy. I was going to say, wait a minute. Hold on, Sly.
That's what I thought too. I was
see, I ain't the only one, Sly.
Slow down.
You've been in Atlanta too long.
Enunciate.
All right, man. But that's our vote. This our voting podcast. See, I done went way off topic. Started talking about these guns and stuff. But we supposed to be talking about voting issues, man. But I think we touched on a lot of good stuff though in this episode, man. Hopefully some of the people out there who are a little bit discouraged about this whole voting thing, they still go out on November 3rd and engage. Go out there and vote. Get their vote, man, to let them know that their vote count, man. We're running a little short on time, so we got any parting thoughts from you. We'll start off with JK.
Yeah, just get out there no matter who you vote for or whether you know the issues or not. Execute your mission and go out there and vote because it's important. And everybody needs to do it, and everybody has the opportunity to do it. If you can vote, get out there and do it.
All right, what about you, Salt?
Yeah, I echo the same as Juwan. No matter which way you vote, exercise your right, and everything's on the line for the future of the country. So just go out and vote. Also, too, like I mentioned earlier, look up your local representatives, council, from the lowest to the highest, type of representation. Just do the research and make sure you vote for whoever is aligned with your views. But either way, vote. whether your circumstances to mail in, if you can't take off work, send in a mail-in ballot, just vote if you're at school, do what you got to do to make your vote count. Just get it done.
And LBZ.
Man, I'll just, piggybacking off the other two, I'll just say vote and don't make the presidential election the only time you vote. We got to get our local government together as well, so we can have the things that we wish for and hope for. And last thing I'll say, if you don't vote, don't come to me and complain. I don't want to hear it, because you had a chance to make your voice heard,
Right.
to make it known what you stand for and what you would like to see. And just thinking back to what our ancestors went through for us to vote, I feel like we owe it to them to get out and vote, especially if you're not a felon or not running afoul of the law.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you brothers for getting with us today, man, talking about a little bit of voting issues, voting things, a little bit about Trump. I appreciate you brothers for joining me on the RIP 28 podcast. Once again, I like to tell all our listeners out here, you can check us out on the RIP 28 podcast. I want to make sure that you not only follow us, make sure that you not only subscribe here on YouTube, make sure that you follow us on our different platforms. You can follow us on Twitter at the RIP 28 podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, all those good things. But make sure that you click subscribe here on YouTube. We want to get these subscribers up, get our numbers up here on our YouTube. And once again, man, this is the RIP 28 podcast. It's a spot, it's a zone where a few brothers can get together and we can talk about some things. Now, some of these things you might like, some of these things you might not like, but we're going to keep on talking about them anyway here on the RIP 28 podcast. Y'all take it easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you into me, hope you understand I am not your